Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube live channel, Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. My pleasure to be here. Glad to have you here. If you can hear me and see my screen, by all means, please respond in the affirmative to let me know that everything is good to go. And I guess my little alert today didn't work so big. I don't know. That makes me sad. All right, I probably could have. Glenn, why are you yelling at us? Am I yelling? I'm not yelling. Maybe if I talk like this, Jay. All right, I'll talk like this, and then maybe you can hear me.
They said I had the mics up too high yesterday.
It was me. I was probably yelling. All right, so everybody. So I'm gonna now look at you. You've now all been dubbed VV Nation. Hashtag that. Hashtag VV Nation. You are now all known as VV Nation. So let's see if we can get that circulating on the internet. Hashtag VV Nation, and that's what you are. Once again, my name is Glenn Tompkins. My pleasure to be here. And for those of you who may be new, what is Trending Thursday? Trending Thursday is a way that I look at news all throughout the week and utilize the stocks and the news that occur, and we use the power of the VectorVest software to corroborate the stories. Are they good stories? Are the stocks good stocks? Are these stocks that you should be looking at or getting out of? All right, so there'll be some analysis today. I'm going to expose a little bit more of the power behind the VectorVest software and how I use it to come up with some of the stories that I do. All right, so I know that gold is on everybody's mind, but I'm going to show you a way that you can find out what's really moving in that space. And I think many of you might be surprised at what you may find out today. So make sure you stay all the way through for that. All right. We always start off with what's going on in the from a market timing perspective. We time the market. Yes, we do. Now, when I say we time the market, we don't predict which way the market is going to go. We follow the trend of the market. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by going to our home page. And from the home page, this is where we start to look at what's going on in the market. And VectorVest has some very pertinent tools to help to keep you on top of what's going on in the market. First off, I'm going to look at all of our major indices. All of the major indices are up today in excess of 1%. So the market's got a nice up day. The biggest mover in the market looks to be the NASDAQ, up at 1.57%. But even our actually the VectorVest composite is moving up faster. It's up 1.58%. For those of you who are new, the VectorVest composite is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track. And currently we track 8,172 stocks. So look at it this way. All of those stocks that I just showed you are all tracked in one indicator known as the VVC or VectorVest composite. We feel that it is a better representation of the broad market movement. I can look and see all of the major indices are up. I can look and see on our color guard, we're in the yellow. The color guard tracks 3 of our market timing indicators. That's what we're missing, Joey. We're missing the color guard, bro. I wonder if I go to my other screen. I'm missing the color guard. We never had it. No, I guess we never had it. Anyway, all right. Well, anyway, huh? This? Yeah, no, I was looking for the 6-day one. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to add it. All right. But our color guard, which is our nightly or daily look into the market, is yellow. All right. The VectorVest does not advocate buying stocks at this time, even though the market is up today. But I'm going to explain to you why we are advocating caution at this time. So from this perspective of looking at what's going on in the market, right now I'm going to say if you buy, you do so cautiously. If you buy, you do so cautiously. I'm not going to tell you it's probably the time to sell anything right now, still not yet. And as we get into our market timing graph, I'll give a better explanation of why I wouldn't be selling anything just quite yet. Now, as we look at what's going on, well, what news is bringing us to the conclusion of where we are? And now I'm going to start off with market news. Let's start with the first news I've got from the Wall Street Journal. which looks at, where is it? There it is. U.S. March trade deficit widened as coronavirus disruption spread. So we all know we're in a pandemic. The pandemic is not only affecting economies, but it's affecting the market. So the March trade deficit got bigger as the coronavirus disruption spread. What else? U.S. factory orders fell sharply in March. So I'm looking at these first two stories, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, then why is the market moving up? I want to let you know that this is a different market than what we've ever seen before. I don't know how many of you ever lived through a pandemic before. The last one was the Spanish flu. I don't remember when it was. It was way before I was born. So I'm thinking that the majority of us that are in this room, unless you were born way back then, this is your first pandemic you're living through. Well, I think that we're treading in uncertain waters. So a lot of the things that we think should happen, factory orders are down, the trade deficit widens. Why is the market moving up? I don't think that we have what we would call a normal market right now, and this is a reflection of it. Let's go one more story. Stimulus spending emerges as friction point in Congress. After acting swiftly to approve a $3.5 trillion budget, lawmakers disagree on how much more, you see that word? On how much more is needed. At some point in time, and you gotta, at some point in time, you gotta say enough is enough, right? I don't know where we get all of this money that we put into the economy. Oh, I do know. Joey, you know where we get it from? It's called the printing press. We can print almost as much money as we want and just keep spending it. That's me being very cynical. That's me but I don't know how far from the truth I really am when I think about it from that perspective. All right, so we got the stimulus out there, the trade deficit. We've got factory orders. There's a lot of bad news that is out there in the market, but the market is still rising. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's get back into the software. We'll get back into the software, and I'm going to go to our graph. What did I do? Did I break the graph again? Here's our market timing graph. All right, from the market timing graph, this is that VectorVest composite. All right, here's that VectorVest composite. Back in when the coronavirus first hit as a pandemic, we got our customers out of the market. If you are a subscriber and you go back to the views back on February 24th, we started getting our customers out of the market prior to the big downplay in the market. Look at this market. All right, coming off of the March 23rd low, you heard me say that I wouldn't be shorting anything right now. Look at this market. Look at the trend line in the market. Make that line a little darker. How many of you, and I'm probably not going to see that because Joey took my chat away. Bad Joey. Market's still moving up. Until we can break through this trend line to the downside, I'm not comfortable pulling the trigger on anything short just quite yet. Market is still moving higher overall. Now, are we in an uptrend from the low? The answer to that is no, because a definition of an uptrend is higher highs and higher lows. We're trending higher, but we're not hitting new highs as of right now. So we're trending higher, but we're not in an uptrend. Let's go add another, that was the VVC. Let's go add the spiders for many of those who are not subscribers to the software. All right, let's go look at the broad market that many people use. And what is that? The S&P 500. All right, let's go take off all of my drawings. Here's my S&P 500. I've got a 20-day exponential moving average. Where's price? Above the 20-day exponential moving average. What else is price doing? Price is moving sideways. I've got a level of resistance sitting at about 294.92 on the S&P 500. So that's another reason why, for those of you who don't have VectorVest, using the S&P as the broad market, it's not breaking below that 20-day exponential moving average. Now, why am I using the 20-day? It's a good middle-of-the-road moving average. Why am I using exponential? Because it's more, it adjusts to price a little quicker. Even when the market or the S&P fell down, where did it fall? Right to that level of the moving average and started moving up all over again. So putting that all into perspective, even with the bad news that's out there, I'm not ready to say that it's time to short anything just quite yet. Let the market come to you. All right, and for those of you who are trying to say, well, the market's gone down and I think it's got to go up, stop doing that. This is not a normal market, folks. This is a pandemic market. This is not a normal market. Let the market come to you. The S&P still above that 20-day exponential moving average. Looking at our market timing graph over the last 3 months, put it on the last 3 months. What's it doing? Still moving higher. Even on the pullbacks, this trend line is holding. Can I put the 20-day exponential moving average on it? Sure can. Let me make that line a little darker just so that you can see it. Here's the 20-day exponential moving average on the VectorVest composite. If I don't want to use the trend line, how about it serving as a good level of support as well? So let the market come to you. Do not try to outguess what the market's going to do because you think you know. This is not the time where you think you know works. This is not a regular normal market, and you've got to look at it that way. All right. Any questions on this so far, Joey?
What was it? Yes,
Yeah,
I
I know
did
that.
have one. I didn't know you were going to stop there.
How did you not know I was going to stop there? By the way, say hi, Joey.
Hi.
Joey's my producer.
How to add the top VST list in the homepage.
All right, so how do you add the top VST stocks in the homepage? I'd have to go up to the configure. All right at the top, click on configure, and I would go and add top items.
So
Huh?
I think we're,
I found it. If that's what you was talking about?
I was going to say it's already down there, so I don't.
No, but I wanted to show them how to put it. You would go click on top items, and now from this list, it's got its own configure. And if I want to look at the top VST, I click the drop down arrow here. I can look at the top RS stocks in the database, the top RT industries, the top RT sectors, and Midas Touch stocks. But that's how I add that gadget to the home page. Hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions, Joey?
How can they get the software?
How can you get this? Give them the link to take out a trial. Joey's going to type a link in the room. I believe it's a trial. Is it? Are we doing? It's
99 cents.
99 cents to take a trial for 30 days to the software. 99 cents. And while someone is asking about the software, if you are new here, please do not forget to subscribe to the VectorVest YouTube channel. Please do. If you like the content, support us and subscribe to the channel. All right, if that's all of the questions, let's get to my next story. Next story is about coronavirus. We've been doing a lot of talk every week about the coronavirus stocks that are fighting and scrapping to get to be the first company that gets the vaccine. Well, in keeping that in mind, the FDA sets standards for coronavirus antibody tests in the crackdown on fraud. A lot of people are putting out that we've got the cure, we've got this. So the FDA has stepped in and said, yeah, there's going to be some regulation on how this works. The Food and Drug Administration, under criticism for allowing hundreds of antibody tests for the new coronavirus on the U.S. market without prior review, has imposed rigorous precision standards on commercial test companies, and it said it's cracking down on fraudulent actors. So I'm using this story to get into which coronavirus stocks are the best to get into. I'm going to go to my watch list of stocks that I have today. All right, let's go to the Viewers tab. Here are my stocks for this week's Trending Thursday, 5/7 of 2020. We're looking at 19 stocks altogether. The first two stocks in the list we've already looked at, which were the VVC and the SPY. We looked at them on a graph. Now, my next two stocks specifically for coronavirus, Gilead, that was a hot pick last week. And my other stock is going to be mRNA, which happens to be personally my favorite, one of my favorite ones to look at, and I'll explain to you in a second why. Let's analyze the stocks. Every stock in our database gets a value, what we feel the stock is currently worth, and our mantra is to have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price in a rising market. So, in order to see what a stock is worth, we give a value. Value looks at things like earnings growth, that kind of thing to establish a value for a stock. We also look at interest and inflation, the same things that affect value in the market. All right, Today, Gilead is trading at 77.77, and the value is 71.49. We're going to call this stock fairly valued. It's a little bit higher than value, but it's within 10%. So we're going to call this stock fairly valued. All right, Moderna, as a pharmaceutical company, trading at 53.98. Man, the value is only at $3.02. This stock is grossly overvalued. Now, because the stock is overvalued doesn't make it a bad stock. It just means that people are willing to pay a premium to own the stock. All right, now let's do further analysis. When we get to these 5 indicators, RV, RS, RT, VST, and CI, these are our core proprietary indicators, which are all cast on a scale between 0 and 2. We make it simple. If the indicator is above the value of 1, it's favorable. If it's below the value of 1, it's unfavorable. Relative value looks at a stock's long-term price appreciation potential. Its potential long-term to move higher. Above 1, the stock has got higher potential to continue to make money over time. But we also compare it to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. So when I look at RV, both of these stocks have RVs below 1. Long term, neither one of these stocks may be the way you want to go, because I'd like to have a stock, if I'm going to hold it, that's got good upside potential. Next indicator, relative safety. This indicator is an indicator of risk. Relative safety looks at the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Layman's terms, does this company meet or exceed its earnings expectations quarter over quarter, year over year? Above 1, the stock's got a high probability of beating or meeting earnings. Below 1, not nearly as much. So Gilead, not nearly as volatile, or not nearly as, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's better safety as far as Moderna is concerned. All right, it's less riskier than Moderna. Moderna has got a relative safety below 1. Remember that RS is an indicator of risk. So Gilead is a little less riskier than Moderna. But now this is what really puts the rubber to the road. RTs, our indicator that looks at the short-term price trend of a stock. Is the stock in an uptrend or not? Above 1, RT above 1, the stock's in an uptrend. The higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is. Gilead Science, because it's in that world of coronavirus stocks, a lot of those stocks are moving. RT is above 1, but wait, look at Moderna. Look at its RT at 1.87. This stock is really moving high. So when I look at a stock like Moderna, I like it because in that space of coronavirus stocks, it's one of the fastest moving stocks. But because I know the RT is above 1, the relative value and relative safety are below 1, this stock is not fundamentally sound. This is more of a technical play, and most of the stocks within the coronavirus field are technical plays. Let me take this a step further. How about Gilead grows their earnings at a clip of negative 5% a year? How about Moderna grows their earnings at a clip of negative 9% a year? So these companies not only fundamentally are not altogether sound, but they're losing money. How do they make money? When these companies come up with drugs, that's where the money comes in. Why do we pay so much money for drugs? Because these companies who put a lot of money behind research and development don't always get paid on it because the FDA may not always approve their drug. So all of that money that was put out from research and development adds to the lessening amount of money that they make a year. But some of these companies do make some good drugs, and they make a lot of money up on those drugs. So just keep that in mind. Let's go. They're both highlighted. They're both hold recommendations. Let's highlight them. Right click, view the stock graph. If I'm looking at these, Gilead, hot play last week, but look at that now. Look at that 20-day exponential moving average. We looked at it last week. It was rocking and rolling. What does it do now? Now this gives you more insight, as this is rather more of a trade than a long-term investment. All right, look how quickly it fell back down, went below the 20-day exponential moving average. Even with today's information, still below. Look at the earnings, falling bad. My stock, Moderna, look at that equity curve. This may not be a long-term hold, but look at it above the 20-day exponential moving average. I wouldn't mind swing trading this stock. Swing trade, staying in the stock for a couple of days to a couple of weeks. Long-term, is something I'm looking at for my retirement portfolio. This is not a retirement stock, but this is one of my favorites as far as coronavirus. And right now, it's trading right at that level of resistance. If I'm not in this and you're looking at this as a brand new stock to think about, make sure that the stock's price goes 12 cents higher than the high before you jump on board. That way you are buying into a continually rising stock. And look at the earnings per share. May be negative, but look at it's getting less negativer. It's getting better. All right. Moderna is a stock to keep your eye on from the coronavirus, in the coronavirus space. But wait, there's a step more. We have a coronavirus watch list. I click on it. We've got, I think, 40 stocks or so in here. 39. My last one is MGMX. This was a new stock that I need to put in here. MGMX, that should give me 40 stocks. There we go. We've got 40 stocks in this watch list. And anybody who keeps asking, well, we need this list, go back to the past videos that we've done on COVID-19. Joey does a good job of highlighting which talk I'm doing on each individual video. I always take time out so that you can take a screenshot. But look at this. One way I love using this is to sort this list every morning by percent price change. I can see what stocks are moving. In the Jockey Club this morning, we did jump on board with TTPH. How about the stock that I just talked about? Up 10% today. There's a lot of people that are in here that make money. Now, reason why I like doing this personally, this is on a personal note. A couple of days ago, I got into a stock, opened this up. There was a stock in here that was moving, MGNX. It was up 100% when I saw it. Well, I put in a buy stop order if it gave me an opportunity to get in. I will never chase a stock, but it gave me an opportunity to get in. Yesterday or the day before, it went up 259%. I caught 68% of that move. I took my money and ran, blew up my portfolio about $4,000 just on that trade alone. So I love being able to have you guys build this watch list. Actually, it is in the software. If you have the software and you go down to special watch lists, go to special watch lists. There's a watch list in here called coronavirus stocks. So for any of you who are not subscribers, you want to access to this list, we got it for you right here as being a subscriber to the software. As being a subscriber to the software, this watch list is already built in for you. All right, so that is my coronavirus story today. The FDA is stepping in to put more regulations so that people are not out there trying to rush drugs through inappropriately and close out on the fraud. All right. Any questions, Joey?
What is CI?
CI is Comfort Index, also cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Comfort Index looks at a stock's ability to withstand long or lengthy price declines. Stocks that have high CI are stocks that may fall, but they're resilient enough to keep moving back up very quickly. Good question. Any other questions, Joey?
Where do you get today's watch list?
Well, the question is, where do you get today's watch list? I create this every week. I create this watch list every week. This is where my stories come from. This is a week's worth of culmination to get the stories together for you. So I build these stocks into this watch list. You don't need it. I only need it because I've got to build the stories around these stocks. That's all. All right. Any other questions, Joey?
So we said Glenn explains things the best. Glenn is a great teacher and he makes it fun.
Well, thank you. Whoever said that, I got to pay them $20 for that.
Yeah, it's Jay.
It's Jay? I'll give you $20 later, Jay.
Well, I see the stock list on my Apple iPhone.
The coronavirus, that's a good question. I believe it's there. I couldn't sign into it. I'm signing. Here's my phone. Password. Come on. Dagnabbit. That's a good question. And I'm going to say that if you go to your phone and go find the watch list, I think it all depends on which level of the app you have. I'm going to watch lists and I'm going to go find, I don't know. This is a little different. EF, ABC, current, coronavirus stocks. I've got a list in here. I don't know if I created it or not, but I've got a list in here of coronavirus stocks. I don't know if that, well, so it's in my phone. So I'm going to say yes, but I don't remember if I created this or not. I'm not sure if I created it or not, but I do have a list of coronavirus stocks in my phone. You probably have to give product support staff a call just to make sure. All right, one more question.
One more. How does VV calculate value?
How does VectorVest calculate value? As a brand new subscriber, if you are, go down, right click on the stock, go to View Full Stock Analysis Report. From here, if you go down to where it says there's recommendation, value. Value is computed from the forecasted earnings per share, forecasted earnings growth, profitability of the company, interest and inflation rates. All of that goes into how we value a stock. Good question. And again, if you're not a subscriber, this is the kind of information that you get once you do become a subscriber. And Joey's going to put the link in there again for you to take a trial. 99 cents for a trial. Great questions from people who may not altogether be subscribers to the software. All right. We're good to go. All right. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, folks, subscribe, especially if you like what you see on the channel. I'm going to go to my next story. Now, in my next story, we're going to talk about oil. Oil has been a mover. Now, I'm going to show you again the power of the software in idea of knowing what industries are moving. I use the software to help me to find out what industries are moving so I can center my stories around those industries. Interesting, oil reverses gains and turns negative as supply glut ways. Folks, oil is rocking and rolling. Oil is rocking and rolling. I'm sitting, look at this picture. We've got a lot of ships sitting offshore holding a lot of oil. We still have an oversupply. So why is oil moving higher? Oil has never been this low. Prior to the current month's expiration of oil contracts, oil was down way low. So I'm thinking that a lot of people are still jumping on board with oil because oil is so low. There's nothing to back up the oil move though. What makes oil go higher? Let me take this off real quick. Phooey Joey. What makes oil go higher? Demand. The demand is not there yet because we have an oversupply. So what's really moving oil is people with FOMO, fear of missing out. What's driving oil is because oil prices are so low, people are jumping on board. Demand is not there to keep the oil price moving up yet. Let's talk about that real quick. In this story, West Texas Intermediate Crude, WTI, is part of this story. So I'm going to go back to our watch list. I'm going to look at two stocks here. Actually, no. I am going to look at two stocks. The two stocks are going to be WTI and MRO. All right, both of these are my oil stocks. But for the purposes of learning how to use the software better, I'm going to do a delta on industries. Delta is a percentage change. I'm going to change my date back to yesterday because I did this as of the end of day yesterday. And what I did is I did a 10-day RT delta. I did a 10-day RT delta. What industries had gone up the most by way of relative timing? So what I did is ran it. All right, and I want to look at the top 10. I'm going to put this onto the top 10. Notice what's in this here. All right, I've got petroleum. I've got petroleum. I thought I had 3 petroleum, but I've got 2 petroleums that are in the top 10 industries as of right now. Tells me that this industry is on the rise. The 10-day the change in relative timing on both of these industries on drilling. 70% change in RT in 2 weeks. Petroleum field services, a change of 66% over the last 2 trading weeks. This is helping me to understand from a perspective of what's moving. I can get that information at any point in time. If you're not a subscriber, again, this is the type of information that you can hold on to and make better decisions and always be on the side of industries that are rising. So let's go back to my two stocks. My two stocks in this industry are WTO and Marathon Oil. Look at WTI, slightly overvalued. Look at Marathon Oil, slightly undervalued. Notice that from an RV perspective, neither one of these stocks have good upside potential. Let's look at relative safety. Neither one of these stocks are less risky. These are more risky stocks. Let's look at RT. WTI has an RT above 1. That stock is moving, whereas with Marathon Oil, not nearly as much. Look at their earnings growth rate, negative. So when everybody is talking about, man, you need to be all over oil, I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, even with WTI above the value of 1, let's take this a step further. Let's look at the graphs. Now, I love listening to people on TV, but I love more to have better information in the stocks that I trade. Here's WTI, put this on a 3-month graph. With the people getting into oil at such a low price, WTI is moving higher. We are above that 20-day exponential moving average. But what's it doing recently? WTI is moving sideways. Be careful with your oil plays right now. They are very speculative. Without the demand being there to drive oil stock prices higher, this is still a speculative play. All right, let's go over to MRO, same kind of scenario, but look at the earnings on that. Definitely falling a lot. Also in a sideways move. So be careful with those oil trades. All right, they are still above the 20-day exponential moving average, but nothing is there to substantiate really oil moving up yet. The demand is not there. Now, using that same information, let's take this on a bigger scale. I've got a petroleum stocks watch list. In this watch list of petroleum stocks, I've got 80 stocks. I've got 80 stocks in here. So let's take a look at it from this perspective. Which ones would I like to take from a long-term perspective? Let's sort by RV. Now, the question is going to come up, well, how do I get this watch list of stocks? One, you need to be here to watch to show, so I can show it to you. But what I've done is from the Viewers tab, I went to all, the industry viewers. I went through all of the industries, all of the petroleum industries, and built a watch list of all of those stocks from all of the industries. All right, from all of the industries. Industry viewer, let's go to industry viewer, sort by industry. And what I did is I went to petroleum. I sorted these alphabetically. Let's go find petroleum. I went to all of the petroleum industries. I put all of the stocks from all of these industries into one watch list. I then took every stock that was less than $1 out. I took every stock in that watch list that had an average volume less than 100,000 shares out. And that's how I ended up from the petroleum, all of the petroleum industries, that's how I ended up with 80 stocks. All right, because everybody's going to say, well, why don't I have this in my software? Because you're not. I had to do the work to do it, and I'm teaching you how to also be able to do it as well. So I'm going to look at this the stock in this industry that's got the highest upside potential, sort by RV. That would be Oasis, followed by Sasol and PBF. But you know something? Even though these are good relative value stocks, right now may not be the right time to buy them. Let's look at the stocks in this industry that are the fastest moving. What's the fastest moving? Man, WMB, which is William & Cause, TC Pipelines, Hess Midstream, ARC. I can take this list of 80 stocks and sort it any which way I want. Which ones have good earnings growth rate? How about CNNE, Canacol Energy, grows their earnings the most in this list. Cross America, next one, and so on and so forth. I can find the means to take this list and adapt it to the way that I invest in the market. One last thing, look at the watch list average. Why am I not ready for oil yet? I need that backup. Look at earnings, just fell on it. Look at that trend line. That trend line, look at that. Trend line is still intact. Trend line is still intact above the 20-day, but what's happening right now? With all that oversupply, what's going on with that whole watch list of 80 stocks? Look at that pullback. Be careful with oil stocks, all right? Any questions, Joey?
Greg wants to know if you can show us how to develop the filters, i.e., remove stocks below $1.
All right, so when I go to the list and make the list, let's say this was my master list. I'd sort by price. All right, sort by price to bring the lowest dollar stock price in here. Who did this? Joey messed this up because that's wrong. How about I've got some stocks in here that are less than $1? That's very interesting. I'm glad. Maybe I did this on purpose so I could show you how to do that. I don't know. So I would highlight the stock, highlight all of the stocks that were less than $1. Okay, these are all less than $1. Right click, delete the item. Let's do the same thing for average volume. Scroll over to average volume, sort by average volume. And I want to find the stock, any stock. Look at this. Maybe I didn't do that for this. Maybe my watch list is wrong. But anyway, I highlight all of the stocks that have less than 100,000 shares of average volume. I right click and delete the item. I think Joey made me do that when I first built it so that if this question came up, that I'd be able to do that. You remember that, Joey?
Yeah, I remember Greg was going to ask that question.
Shut up. You did it. Now that list of 80 stocks just came down to 63. Greg, does that now make sense? I was able to do it on the fly for you with the stocks that were less than $1 and average volume less than 100,000 shares. So Greg and everybody in the room, I took all of those stocks from all those watch lists, from all of those industries, put them into one list. Now I showed you how to cull it down. All right. Any other questions, Joey?
Do y'all offer courses on trading?
The question is, do we offer courses on trading? We sure do. We have a Trade Like a Pro course, which will give you the trader's edge on learning how to pinpoint trades. We have a successful investor course that gives you more information on how to effectively make 15% a year at the software. We have a retirement course that teaches you how to grow your nest egg. I think that we have a course to accommodate any type of investor in the market.
Is there a document to know what each symbol in the VV tool means?
What each symbol, you talk?
The indicators, yeah.
All right, so I did that already. When you right click.
Right, but is there a document to know? Yeah, go
And
ahead.
when you right click on the stock, go to view full stock analysis report. That full stock analysis report will define every indicator that we have in the software from that list. Every indicator is defined right here. So that's your documentation. All right, any other questions, Joey?
That's it.
All right, so my next story is in the gold field. Gold is another thing that's on people's minds. But I want to show you something. Cameco is up 4% after TD upgrades. Uranium focus shifts away from oversupply. Cameco CCJ climbs as much as 8% after TD Securities upgrade the shares to a buy from a hold with, I don't know what that is, price target raised from 14, saying that the supply discipline commitments by large producers is moving price power into their hands from nuclear utilities. So everybody's talking about gold, right? So now I'm going to show you the power of the software again. I'm going to go back to that Unisearch tool, and I did a 10-day RT delta to find the drilling companies. Now I'm going to do a 10-day price delta. I'm looking still as of yesterday, and from there, man, what happened? That's Petroleum. I had a mining, I forget what happened. I had a mining, let's go do this. 659, 459, 359, click on OK. Let's run it again. I had an industry that was up here that was in the top 10, mining uranium. It's trying to do it for me as of yesterday's close. It's having an issue. I apologize for that. But the difference is that this was a delta on the industry price. The percentage change on industry price, and for the sake of time, it was mining uranium. Where is it? It's still not here. That's interesting. That's the hard thing about doing these prior to today, my data could be a little different, and I apologize for that. But it was mining uranium that was amongst the top 10. And I'm not sure why I can't get it to pull up now. But it was mining uranium. So it actually took me a little bit away from the gold space to show that uranium was more on the rise than gold. So I'm going to go back to my graphs. Oops, go back to my viewers. All right, and let's go back to my watch list for today. I am looking at one gold stock today, though. Another hot stock, Kinross Gold, KGC. But CCJ is also in here, which is a uranium stock. And it was because of the delta change in price on industries where I found that was the rock and rolling stock. All right, ENPH, right now overvalued. Cameco, close to overvalued as well. Upside potential. Sorry, take off end phase. There we go. Actually, Kinross Gold is a slightly bit undervalued. That's good. Upside potential on Kinross Gold is there. Cameco's upside potential is not there. Safety on Kinross Gold is a little risky. It's not above 1, but it's a little better than Cameco, which is at 0.83. Notice that both stocks, though, are moving higher. All right, 1.94 on a scale between 0 and 2 for Kinross Gold. Stock is still moving. So is Cameco, which is in mining uranium. And many of you may not understand that in that same space, uranium may be on the rise. So at least I'm giving you an idea about possible stock. Now, Cameco, though, grows their earnings at a negative rate, whereas Kinross Gold grows their earnings at a positive rate. Both of them are buy recommendations. And when I'm looking at CI, Kinross Gold goes up more than goes down because of its higher CI. Let's look at these graphs. So keep in mind that Cameco is an industry that's on the rise. All right, if an industry is on the rise, what's the stocks in the industry must be doing? Rising. Look at that beautiful move above the 20-day exponential moving average and just rocking and rolling. Earnings doesn't look all that great. If we go to Kinross Gold, it does look good too, above the 20-day exponential moving average, but a little bit of a sideways move. I like earnings better on Kinross Gold. So Kinross Gold is more of a solid play, whereas CCJ is more of a speculative play, but I know that that industry, the mining uranium industry, is on the rise. That may not be a bad stock to look at. Still don't think I want to hold it long term. All right, any questions, Joey?
No, sir.
All right, let's go to our next story. Next story, another industry that's on the rise, home builders. Home builders move up after D.R. Horton sees rise in weekly sales. I understand the story was done back on April 28th. The reason why I needed to find this story, I'm going to go back to the Unisearch tool again. Where am I at? I'm going to go back to the Unisearch tool again. I'm going to do another 10-day RT delta as of yesterday close of business. All right, so I'm doing a percentage change on relative timing over the last 10 days. And when I did that, builders came up, 3 builders came up to the top of the list as far as industries. Again, for some reason, I'm having issues with the software. I apologize for that. So for the sake of time, we're going to go back to the viewers. I am looking at one builder, which is DHI, because that's what the story was on. We look at DHI, it's undervalued. I like that. Good upside potential by way of relative value. As compared to a AAA corporate bond, this stock should outperform that bond by 40%. Safety is there. Tells me that the stock has got a high probability of meeting or exceeding its earnings expectations. Stock's in an uptrend, RT above 1. As a builder, that's exactly what you're looking for. As a stock within a good industry, undervalued, good upside potential, good safety, in an uptrend, and a buy recommendation with positive earning growth rate. Man, you can't beat that, right? Let's right-click, view the stock graph. There's D.R. Horton. Let's put this on a 3-month graph. Earnings is falling a little bit, but look at that above the 20-day exponential moving average. It is moving sideways. What I'm looking for more confirmation on the move of this stock, Let's let the stock get above that value of the resistance of 49.64. I like that it's not moving down. It may be moving sideways, but it ain't moving down, and it is being uplifted by that 20-day exponential moving average, still staying above it. I like that, and the stock is a buy recommendation. I don't like earnings, but from the standpoint of RV, RS, RT all above 1, this is probably not a bad play at all. And again, let me close that out. Again, if I could get into the Unisearch, there it is. I got it to come up. Building, 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 building. Out of the top 10 industries, moving up the most by relative timing, look at this. Building, mobile, manufacturing, 109% move on RT. Residential, 97% by RT. Wood products, 73% by RT. Products miscellaneous, 50%. This is in the last 2 weeks. That is the reason why I had to find a story on builders, but I'm letting the VectorVest software put into my hands at any given time what's moving. Folks, I don't know of any software that can put this at your hands like that. Interesting. So we looked at THI. Guess what? Guess what I did? Look what I can do. Guess what I did? I built the, stop laughing. I built a watch list for builders. Ta-da! Where they at? Where's my builders watch list? There it is. Man, you get a lot of watch lists built in Trending Thursday. All right. I've got 115 stocks. Let's make sure these are right. Sort by price. Any stock under $1. Let's take them all out. All right. I just built this one, so I didn't cull this one through yet. Let's delete the items, and let's go over to average volume. Sort it by average volume to bring the lowest at the top. Look at that. Here's the stocks that have under 100,000 shares of average volume. Let's delete the item. Brand new watch list I just created. I've got 102 stocks in here. Let's go look at the industry as a whole with all of these stocks. View the average watch list. Look at that move on builders. Put that in. Look at that move on builders from the low. Nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. It's tested it twice, but staying above. I don't like the earnings per share overall, but the builders are on the rise. That's what we call movers and shakers. We're finding an industry that's on the rise over the last 10 days. And if that's the case, let's find the stocks in here that are making money. All right, any questions, Joey?
Did you set up your own search in Delta? Cannot find a VectorVest.
Can you say it again?
Did Glenn set up his own?
Okay, did I set up my own search in Deltas? No. I went to Delta Searches Industries. I ran what was already here. Whether it was a 10-day price delta or 10-day RT delta, I ran it right in the software. I didn't have to make up my own. Any other questions, Joey?
No.
You said it as I'm getting ready to take a drink of water. Think about it some more. Any other questions, Joey?
If we get 300 likes, will Joey go on camera?
You know something? If we get 300 likes, I will put Joey on camera.
Nope.
Huh?
Yeah. I will.
All right, if we get 300 likes, Joey will go on camera. Joey has never gone on camera. When we get 300 likes today, we'll put Joey on camera. Remember, folks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done it. All right.
Why sort less than 100,000 on volume?
Why? Because why sort less than 100,000 on volume? I think 100,000 shares of average volume is a good minimum number to have. All right, that goes to show that the stock has got some liquidity. Anything lower than that tends to be a more volatile stock. Not that even if it's above 100, that it won't be a volatile stock. What are you laughing at?
That's like jumping up to 122.
Oh, it's jumping up. Uh-oh, Joey's getting scared. Uh-oh, Joey's getting scared. Keep the likes going, folks. But 100,000 shares of average volume does help to ensure liquidity. All right, any other questions, Joey?
That's it.
All right, let's get to my next story. My next story actually deals with stocks that hit or miss earnings. We're still heavy in earnings season. Beyond Meat plus 3% after surprise profit. I want to tell you something about Beyond Meat. How many of you have heard that the meat industry is suffering right now because of coronavirus? Yeah. So what are people doing? Beyond Meat is going to be the meat of choice for a little bit, because if we have a shortage of meat and people do want meat products, sort of, kind of, Beyond Meat, don't sleep on Beyond Meat. I personally own it. I personally own it, but I personally own it because I know that there's an issue with meat and coronavirus, all right? Enphase, love the stock. Enphase reports all-time quarterly record for gross margin. All right, that was on May 5th. Beautiful stock. We're going to take a look at that graph. Shopify, up 3.5. It beat earnings as well. Subscription solutions revenue grew 34% to $187 million, driven primarily by growth in monthly recurring revenue, largely as a result of increase in the number of merchants joining the Shopify platform. Whew! Another one, Barrick Gold. Talking about gold, how about Barrick Gold beats as well? Q1 gold production cost consistent with full year review. And last but not least, Wendy's missed. You know why? Guess what? How many of you have experienced going to Wendy's and they've taken burgers, some of the burgers off the menu? I have. Wendy's in the meat industry is under some tightness right now. So Wendy's missed. That's going to affect their sales, and people are looking at Beyond Meat as another alternative. Let's take a look at these stocks. All right, I don't know if you knew that, but now if you didn't know it, you know it now. Let's go find my watch list for today. 5-7. Let's go look at those stocks. All right, so these several of the stocks missed, hit, one missed. ENPH hit. Let's go find Beyond. Let's go find ENPH. Let's go find Shopify. Where's that at? Shopify. Let's go find Gold, Barrick Gold, and find Wendy's. All right, let's take a look at these. So Wendy's was the only one that missed, and Wendy's is still a buy recommendation. Wendy's was the only one that missed Enphase, Gold, Shopify, missing Beyond. Did I get Beyond? There's Beyond. All right, all of them are buy recommendations. Interesting, and they all have positive earnings growth as well. Enphase, beautiful RVs, probably the top RV stock in this list. Barrick Gold at 1.26. The other three don't have good upside potential. All right, relative safety. Enphase, really good as compared to all of them. The only one that doesn't have relative safety above 1 is Beyond Meat, and every single one of these stocks is in an uptrend. RT, the biggest uptrend right now is Enphase, followed by Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat may not have the fundamentals, but the stock technically is moving up nicely, and they grow their earnings at a clip of 45% per year. Let's view the stock graph of all of these stocks. So, Enphase hit, look at that run. Above look at the earnings. This is a stock you really can't go wrong with right now, right? Enphase pandemic happened, it got hit, but look at the run on the stock right now. Breaking through a couple of level of resistances as well, moving up. If you're not in it though right now, I would suggest waiting until it breaks above that level of resistance first. How come it only looked at that one stock? That stunk. Gold, Beyond, Shopify, Wendy's. There they all are. View the stock graph. I got EMPH. All right, so there's EMPH. Now I have a slider bar. Let's go to the next one here. Gold. Again, I talked to you about gold, but before you look at just gold, think about the uranium industry that's moving as well, mining uranium. But gold is doing what? Leveling off right now. Earnings looks good though. Beyond Meat, this is strictly a technical play. Beyond Meat is strictly a technical play. The fundamentals are not there behind it. Today is not the day to get into it. It is moving down. As I mentioned, I do own it. Shopify moving up nicely above that 20-day exponential moving average. Watch earnings. Earnings is going down. Wendy's, even though it missed earnings, it's moving sideways and it's still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Now you have a better idea of which stocks out of these you would feel more comfortable with. Always graph a stock. Always graph a stock. Any questions, Joey?
What time of day is your watch list delivered?
What? I don't understand the question. What type? Then you can't ask the question.
Time of day. It's always.
Well, my watch list is real time right now. I'm streaming it. Right. So that's the only way I can answer that question. Right. All right. Any other questions, Joey?
Where do you get all these news stories?
Where do I get all of these news stories? I have 5 outlets that I look at. I'm in Joey's account, so I use what's the A one? Seeking Alpha, Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and one more. Oh, investing.com. Those are my 5. That's where I get all of my stories from. All right, and I found them to be, and then I've got other means of getting social media stocks that people are looking for on social media. All right, so I've got a couple of websites for that as well. All right, so again, folks, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm almost done. I've got one more listing of stocks. All right, my last listing of stocks, I always have stocks of interest. Other stocks that, as I go through all of these news media outlets, I have stocks that catch my attention. And I find the stories on them. General Electric stock rises 4%. I am not a big fan of General Electric, but it made the news. We'll look at that stock. What else is in here? Exxon. Why ExxonMobil stock jumped 5% today? I already showed you a story about oil and all the supply glut of it. So this is an interesting story. It jumped, but we're going to take a look. The oil giant is still betting big on oil, so it's good news when oil prices aren't falling. And this is why I use the power of the software. I'm not sure I agree with the story, so I'm gonna analyze the stock to make a better decision. Hopefully that makes sense. I like this story. Microsoft versus Apple. One is a better investment. So before we try to get the answer from the story, let's use the VectorVest software to get an answer. But Microsoft has performed better than Apple in the past 5 years. A closer look at the two companies shows that Microsoft has a better business model than Apple. When I see opportunities and challenges in both, I expect Microsoft to be a better performer. That's this dude right here. He ain't me, and he don't work for VectorVest. So I like this story, but I'm going to use the VectorVest software to make a better determination. And last but not least, Peloton sales surged 66%. You know why? Because people at home are riding that bike while they're at home. Now, one of the things that didn't happen for me while on the pandemic is I got fatter. Whew, I got a little bit bigger in here. So I should have got the Peloton bike. But sales surged 66%. So these are stories that caught my attention. Let's go back into the software. Let's go peep them out. Microsoft, Apple, XOM was the story. Was that it? And GE. All right. So let's take a look at it. Microsoft, overvalued. All right. So the first thing is that, hey, Microsoft is better than Apple. All right. Stock is overvalued. Let's go look at Apple. Well, Apple's overvalued. Dang. All right. Let's go look at Exxon. It's fairly valued, and General Electric is overvalued as well. Let's go peep out the relative value. Relative value on Microsoft above 1. That's good. Apple's got it above 1 as well. That's good. Exxon and General Electric, upside potential, not there. Let's go to safety. Microsoft's good safety at 1.35. Apple, 1.36. We beat it out just a little bit. I'm an Apple guy, by the way. And last but not least, Microsoft is in an uptrend. And Apple's in an uptrend, but Microsoft's in a bigger uptrend. All right, what else do I see? Microsoft's got better earnings growth than Apple. How about maybe the story might be a little right? If I'm analyzing it, I'm analyzing that Microsoft has got a better VST, which is the combination of RVRS and RT in one indicator. Microsoft is a little better than Apple. But I look at Exxon and GE, I'm not feeling those as well. Let's go take a look at the graphs. So maybe the story's got some credence behind it. All right, there's Microsoft, nicely moving higher. Look at that resilient, and that's like a V-shaped bottom. Put this on a 3-month graph. Stock is moving up nicely. Look at the earnings per share. Microsoft looks good. What is it doing now? It's coming up to another level of resistance, which is on a 3-month high. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple's doing sort of like the same thing too. Looking at moving higher, earnings moving higher. I think that you couldn't go wrong with either one of them. But from an analytic standpoint, Microsoft may be edging out Apple just a little bit. But I would tell you it's okay to buy either one of them. This is the reason why we get the stories. And this is where VectorVest puts the rubber to the road and we get a full information on the story. Next one, ExxonMobil, earnings falling, stock moving a tad bit sideways, still above the 20-day exponential moving average, but moving sideways. And the last one, GE, is just horrible. I don't know how GE is still around, my personal opinion, but GE is just, I put that on a 6-month graph, I put that on a 1-year graph. GE is not a good stock. And it's not that I hate them or anything, they're just not a good stock. And just right now challenging a level of a low more so than a level of a high. All right. Any questions on that, Joey?
No, sir.
Nope. All right. So now what's the last thing we do? I know I'm over. Last thing we do is we don't type stocks in yet because I'm looking at the comments that you guys put in and I'm starting to build my watch list a little bit. BIB, comma. I'm starting to build my watch list a little quicker than yours because these are stocks that people want me to look at. APA. So I'm trying to do that for them. Gush, comma, GNUS. All right, now type in your stocks. Go, Joey.
Siri, SIRI. DXCM.
I made some money on that too.
XOM.
We just looked at it.
XLV.
Silver? Healthcare, okay.
Here, is that one? HEAR?
Yep, that's Turtle Beach. You should know about that.
Ooh. FLDM.
FLDM, okay.
ANET.
ANET.
PKI.
PKI?
Yes, sir.
PKI.
VEEV.
Vive.
Nugget.
Nugget.
TWLO.
T, that's another stock that's been moving.
TQQQ.
TQQQ.
SAN.
SAN.
J&J. PTCO. We already did shop. FLIR.
And notice for my new people, all I'm doing is putting in the symbols separated by a comma.
TACH and RILY.
RILY. All right, let's peep them out. All right, I always look at a 3-month graph, and I've got a layout that I use, graph layout. I've got one specifically, let's take off the 3 and the 8. Looking at the 20, taking off RT, put on earnings, right click, change the type to area. All right, JNUG. I wouldn't touch JNUG. JNUG did that reverse split, 10 for 1. Be careful. There's the split right there, 1 to 10. Be careful with JNUG. With that price jumping up the way that it did from where it was, I cannot get a real good accounting on the stock's price movement. Just be careful with it, is all I'm going to say. That's all. Look at the price movement. I'm not getting much in the way of price movement. I'd rather have you in a stock that's definitely moving in one direction or another. That ain't happening with JNUG. All right, so just be careful with JNUG. Next stock I have up, BIB. And this is stocks. Some of these stocks were stocks that were put in the comments for me to take a look at. Hopefully the people that put them in the comments are here today. If you're not, then you missed out. All right, BIB. Pro shares on bio, sort of like a LABD. Is that what this is? Or LABU? Right now, it's in a sideways move, between a level of support and resistance. Resistance is sitting at 64.96. I got a little bit. If I'm not in it, I'd rather wait for it to break above. If I am in it, I'm okay because it is above the 20-day exponential moving average and moving higher. If I'm not in it, though, let's make sure, because that could stop the stock, right? Make sure it's going higher than the high or the level of resistance. Next stock, DIG, another oil stock. Be careful on the oil stocks, folks, whether you're bullish or bearish. I am a big believer of the demand is not there yet. It will move. I bet you when the oil cuts from the oil-producing companies or countries hit, demand is going to skyrocket. And I'm thinking that that's, again, why people are in oil now. I'd rather be in oil once the demand is there. Will I leave some money on the table? Yeah. But am I going to still be on the big run of oil? Yeah. All right, I'd rather be in the trade, start making money in the trade before I get into it and it starts going down. I got to worry. All right, so that's what I think about DIG, doing a little bit of sideways, but it is above the 20-day moving average. All right, let's go to the next one. APA, Apache. Somebody put that in the comments for me to look at, along with BIB. Again, I hope that person is there. There's another oil company above the 20-day, but what's happening? Look at the stock's price pulling back down to it. Just be careful with oil. I can't express that enough. Please be careful with your oil plays. All right, let's go down. Gosh, another one. Look at that. There's another split right there. What was that split? 1 to 40. Once these splits happen, look at these prices of the stock. I just be careful with that. And again, oil. A lot of these stocks are oil. Just be careful. Genius Brands, Media Movies. Man, I bet you this was an earnings play. And I was wrong. It's not. I don't know what the news was. You know what the cool thing about this? If I ever want to find the news on the stock while I'm in the graph, I can click on news and I can bring up what's going on with that stock. Stock is up 79% today. Read this before. That was 4 months ago. Let's go to press release. Let's see what's making the stock move. Genius Brands International announces a 2.8 million registered direct offering. Ta-da, that was done 6 hours ago. That's what's making that stock price move higher. How cool is it that if you're looking at a stock that you can do that? Now, what's happening with this? What's this called? See if anybody types in the room. What's this called right here? Not the candlestick pattern, but the stock went up. What's this pushback called? Anybody want to type in the room? I'm looking for 2 words, P and T. What's that called? Nobody? I got that much of a delay? Good gravy.
Some people just get,
What this says?
PT.
Yeah, but that's not the word.
No, they're putting PT, sell, shooting star, sell off, profit taking.
Profit taking, that's what I'm looking for. Look at where the stock's price finished yesterday. It closed at 48 cents. Look at where it went up to today. Went to a high of $1.03. That's a lot of profit taking. That's a lot of profit taking. Still an open candle, but a lot of profit taking. Be careful with that. All right, just be careful with that. The stock went up. If you weren't in it yesterday, it's tough for you to try to make money in it today. All right, let's go to the next stock. Sirius Radio, pulling back to the 20-day exponential moving average, still above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, the stock's pulling down. If you own it, tighten stops on it. That's all I can tell you. Stock is coming to that 20-day exponential moving average as well as a level of support at 539. All right, just keep that in mind. Don't give back more than half of what you've made and make sure you mitigate your losses so it doesn't run away from you. All right, next stocks, DXCM, healthcare products, love it. Look at that hitting a new 3-month high, beautiful open candle, very strong day today after it gapped up. I'm loving that. That's not earnings was a few days ago, but since earnings, the stock's price has been moving up. I like that stock. I like that stock, and I cannot lie. DXCM should be a buy. I'm gonna no.
I said if we got 150 likes, you would sing. We're at 155.
All right, well I sung. Well, we need 150 more for Joey to get on camera. Don't look like he's gonna get on camera today. That's all right. Anyway, you didn't put that I was gonna sing.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. Whatever. Anyway, XLV. Watch it too. ETF sector healthcare. If you own it, leave it alone. It's nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. And look at that. Even when it pulled back, that 20-day exponential moving average held. I love having some semblance of a moving average to keep me from panicking. If you didn't have that, you'd be panicking, go, oh my God, what to do? It held. Now, if you're not in it, I'd like to see it break above that level of resistance at 101.84 to make sure I'm buying into a rising stock. All right, next one here, Turtle Beach. You would think that if gaming is moving up, people are buying more expensive gear. You don't have Turtle Beaches?
I do.
All right, so you need a new pair? Want me to get you a new pair?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get you a new pair. How much are they?
$200.
Yeah, I'm not getting you a new pair. Anyway, Turtle Beach, these are some of the best gaming headsets ever. All right, that's why Joey uses them. They are about $200 a pair. All right, they are about $200 a pair. Oh, DXCM got added to the S&P 500. Thanks, Jesse. Thank you. But look at that.
I wanted to show you this.
Okay. Joey's showing me the chat. Somebody's cussing at me about AMD. Oh my gosh. Glenn will sing if we get over 150 likes. And I did that. I can't believe that. I can't believe you put that. Somebody cussed at me to get AMD in there. Oh my gosh, I saw that. Just because I don't get your stock in there doesn't mean you get mad at me. Because then I really want to show it. How about that? All right. Keep the good word. Thank you, Boxing for Life. So I haven't been able to see the chat. Joey gave me all of the stocks. All right. So I do like here. It pulled back a little bit. I'd make sure I'm buying higher than the high before I pull the trigger. This was an earnings play today. It looks like there's the earnings on today. I like that. Next one. FLDM. Big wicks at the top. As Jesse calls them, hair. It's got shows me some shelling pressure. It is above the 20-day. I like that. Be careful with this. A little bit more volatile in the swings in the candle. All right, a little bit more volatile in the swings in the candle. So just be careful with that. So cuss at Joey. Kevin wants me to cuss at you. I'm not going to cuss at you, Joey. All right. Be careful with those stocks that have a lot of wicks, a lot of back and forth in the candle. Arista Networks. It's pulling over a little bit. This was an earnings play a couple of days ago. It gapped down after the earnings play. A little bit of a reprieve today. Back above the 20-day exponential moving average. I love the earnings per share. I really, really do. Let's make sure that the stock is rising above this level of now new resistance before you pull the trigger. If you're in it, leave it alone. You should have gotten out yesterday, all right, when it dropped below. But if you're in it now, leave it alone. But if it drops back below that 20-day, you need to consider selling it. All right. PKI. Definitely moving higher. I don't like the earnings. But if price action keeps moving, and this stock has been moving up since earnings, price action keeps moving, you know what I would do? I'd put a tighter stop on it because earnings doesn't look so good. Because earnings doesn't look so good, I probably would put a tighter stop, but I'm not going to ignore price action. Price action is definitely moving higher. Be careful today. That's a closed green candle. All right, go to the next stock.
Back to the profit-taking stock. It says, how do you tell the difference between profit-taking or the bears jumping in?
When the bears start jumping in, a stock's price will pull back, will pull over. When I'm looking at an individual candle like this, that's a profit-taking candle. Now, that's a gravestone doji. That's a possible reversal, then followed by no follow-through. Then when the bears start taking in, you start breaking below the 20-day exponential moving average. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? When the price starts breaking below whatever moving averages you're using, that's when the bears take place. Somebody wants me to do bear white. I'm not doing bear white. Last time I did that, somebody yelled at me, so I'm not doing that. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's go to the next stock. Nugget, same kind of thing, what we saw with J-Nug, what we saw with the oil stock. Be careful with it. I don't see a lot of movement in price, but I can't ignore that that Nugget is above my 20-day exponential moving average. And where is it trading? Right at resistance at 72.45. All right, 72.45. It just broke above it today. Let's see if we get follow through of the breakthrough of resistance. If it does, it could start moving higher. All right, then it can stop. Please no singing. You knocked the feed out once. Wow, I did, didn't I? All right. Twilio. Earnings play yesterday. Stock price moved up today. Very little hair at the top, as Jesse would say. That's a good, strong day on the candle. DXNEM, you just putting in stocks. Stop putting, those are the stocks from yesterday? Oh, that's what he found it. Do you want me to put those up? I'm not going to. Those are Jay. Oh, Jay put them up. Those were the stocks from yesterday's. Jay Buckberg just put in the stocks from yesterday's panel. Thank you for that, Jay. You're all right, Jay. No matter what Joey says about you, you're all right. This only my second video, but I'll definitely subscribe and look for it. Thank you for that, C. Harris. I like Twilio. If I'm not in it, though, make sure I'm in a little higher than the high, about 12 cents higher than the high. TQQQ, market's been trying to move up, right? TQQQ shows that. That's the bullish on the Qs. Above the 20-day, but look at the last 3 days. There's a candlestick pattern known for that. You probably have to go to candlesticker.com. There is a chart pattern for that, and I don't know what it is. But that could be a possible reversal pattern. I don't remember. Because it's indecision for 3 days in a row. That could be a possible reversal, folks. Oh my gosh, what are you typing in the room?
Hey,
What?
finish up.
All righty then. So let's keep on moving. Man, Joey just does that. All right, here's a bank, and it ain't bank. I wouldn't bank on it. Earnings came, the stock's price gapped up one day, staying now below the 20-day exponential moving average. I probably would stay away from it. But what I do like is that it's not falling below that level of support at 203. It's only 3 cents away. If you own it, which, if you speculated on it and you own it, only good thing is that it's at a level of support. If it breaks below that level of support, you probably should think about getting rid of it. Johnson & Johnson, man, stay at home. That should be good for Johnson & Johnson, but look at the pullback. What's holding it up? Look at right at that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Hasn't broken below it yet and moving sideways. So Johnson & Johnson, you ever heard that, hold on, Snoopy, hold on? Right now, if you're in Johnson & Johnson, hold on, Snoopy, hold on. All right, but if it falls below that 20-day exponential moving average, you probably want to get out of it. PTCO, who gave me this? And I don't want it ever. This is a lot of non-traded bars. The volume probably is not there. I would not tell anybody in this room to trade it. Not at all. Not at all. All right, let's go to the next stop. Fleer Instruments. Again, above the 20-day exponential moving average, but look at earnings. This is another one that I would definitely, if I bought it off of, I like that it broke through resistance. It's tracking to another couple of levels of resistance. I would buy this as long as I'm 12 cents higher than the high, but I'd put tighter stops because earnings look poopy. All right, because earnings look poopy. All right, and let's go to, I got 2 more stocks. TECH, man, love the run up. Nice green candle today, but it's a closed candle. A little bit of a breather today on the stock, but love the stock. Earnings is starting to fall a little bit, but still higher than it was 3 months ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. I like that stock as well. That may not be a bad play, but I got to play it 12 cents higher than the high. Last stock is Riley Financial Management. It is below the 20-day exponential moving average, but today's activity created a new level of support at 1605. If you still own it, that's the good saving grace right now, is that it's at that level of support. Hopefully it bounces. Today it looks like it did. Earnings are higher. I like the earnings. If you own it, I really am hoping that it goes back above the 20-day exponential moving average. If I don't own it, I wait for that before I go and pull the trigger on it. All right, I'm done. That's enough. I'm hoarse today.
Where do you see volume?
Where do I see? I didn't put volume on here, but I can. Where is it at? Add parameter, price volume. There's volume. I can add volume. And normally, where's the other stock that looked like poopy? That one. Look at the volume on it. Look at the volume on it. I'm not going to ever tell you, that's for the whole day. 2 shares traded on 4/7 of 2020. How many traded here? No shares traded on 4/8 of 2020. Any new stocks, Anthony? No, I won't. I'm only supposed to be doing this until 3 o'clock, and I'm already at 3:20. So, Joey, do me a favor. For anyone whose stocks I missed, Joey's going to put a link in there for you to get a free stock analysis report. All right, click on that. For any stock that you want to take a look at, click on that. It will give you a full-blown stock analysis report. I know, Lisa, I'd love to go to Tampa, but I don't think I'm going to go. I don't know. They won't let me go. All right.
You got to sing a little bit. Let's go.
You got to get on camera.
No,
I already sang.
It's 300.
I already sang. I already did my singing.
They want Tom Jones.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to be something with a gun. That's all the words I really know to the song. And if I sing it, it will all be wrong. I wonder why. All right, I'm done. I am done. I am so done. Aman, the Derby is an add-on tool. You got to give our product support staff a call. I won't talk about the Derby in here. So I did get to sing a little bit. You wanted Tom Jones? I did it on the fly. I did that on the fly, baby. Yeah. And I killed it. I made it my own. As Randy would say, I made it my own. I might have been a little pitchy, but I made it my own. All right, folks. So you guys have a great day. Teddy says, regards of J&J moving sideways. What about your J&J over the next 10 years? Oh, heck no. I am never. I can't look out that far. I will not, Teddy. I don't know. And I don't have the chops to tell you what a stock is going to do that far into the future. I will not. That's not my deal. I know what I know, but the things that I don't know and I'm not comfortable with, Teddy, I'm going to always be honest. I can't project out that because who could project that the pandemic was going to come this year? Who could predict that 2008 was going to happen when it happened? Yeah, I'm never going to be as good as being able to project out how far anything is going to go 10 years. All right, so did we get to 300 likes? How many likes did we get up to?
172.
Oh, we didn't get to 300 likes? All right, well, Joey doesn't have to go on screen.
Next time.
All right, folks, thank you so much for being here. Teddy, hopefully that answers your question. Again, I'm all about being honest. I'm so about being honest. Would push the like button for Glenn. What he says, but I don't see it. I don't know where that is, the like button. But if you don't hit the like button, at least...
Below the video.
It's below the video, but at least I need all of you to subscribe. Anyone who hasn't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, folks. All right? Please. Huh? What's that? Oh, it's right below. It's a gray thumbs up. We got 186. That's how you do the likes. All right. It's the thumbs up. Thank you, Kev. All right, folks. You like J&J Long? Again, all I can do is tell you about what I saw on Johnson & Johnson. And right now, you know, let's put it on a 1-year graph. Wow, put it on a 5-year graph. Look at Johnson & Johnson over the last 5 years. If I'm long-term, do I want to be in Johnson? Back here, I would love to have been in Johnson & Johnson, but look at what's going on now. What you see on the graph is what you get. If I'm seeing this little Loch Nessy move here, what do you think is going to happen with Johnson & Johnson right now? Keep that in mind. All right, give us a stock of the day. I'm going to try, maybe think about mRNA. That's just off the top of my head. All right, sorry you ignored ETF. What ETF? Somebody wanted me to do an ETF strategy. I didn't have anything to provide. If that's what you were talking about, I didn't ignore ETF. I didn't. All right, but I got to go. Give us only one recommendation. I already did. I gave you mRNA. Just keep that in mind. Love. Yep, people, I'm loving the love for Glenn. Thank you, Kev. All right, I got to go. It's hot in here, too. All right, what's your short-term price target for MRN? Look at the stock. That was just off the top of my head to give you that stock price. Joey's taking this away from me. That was just look at the graph. Look at the graph, put a stop in place. He's doing something. Joey took my mouse away. Oh, the summit. All right, I'm going to be doing the strategy of the week on the summit tomorrow. Make sure you go. VectorVest.com/summit. It's still trying to load up. Click on that. It's a free 3-day seminar, folks. I will be hosting it for all 3 days. All right, click on the register now button right there where Joey's. Click on that register now button. All right, let me go now. Melissa, thank you. Stop talking to me in the room. I gotta go. Maybe time to free up some cash. Thanks again. You ready, Teddy? All right, gotta go. Bye. Adios. Oh, there's all the people. Where's my picture? Forget all them people. Oh, give me the mouth. There I am. Yeah. I'm going to be your host, and I'm going to be doing a couple of presentations. So there we go. All right, folks. Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao. Hold on. Where's that little piece of paper? Later.